Carla. I'm a journalist, and I'm a media trainer specialist for Italy for Google News Lab. We're giving a number of workshops within the festival program, so we went through some tools yesterday related to advanced search. We'll do another workshop today in the afternoon, again on search, image search. This will be in Italian, though, today afternoon, at the Hotel San Gallo, I think. And it will be 2 hours. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, here again, we will go through all the geo tools. But today, this morning, we focus on the use of YouTube, Hangout, and what's like the new multimedia tools that can be used in journalistic production. So before I go straight into our topic, I just want to tell you a few words about Google News Lab. It's more or less quite a new team, a new effort that Google has decided to foster to basically empower innovation at the intersection between media and technology. So it's a team that has a very specific aim, which is that of supporting journalists and newsroom in the use of digital tools for the production of journalistic content. So there is a very wide range of tools at Google. Many people use many of these tools in their daily activities, but very often some of these tools can actually be better used or very well used as well to improve our journalistic production. And I'm talking about tools like maps, geo tools, but also tools that regards data, the ability to find data and the ability to work with data. So to use data to build a database and then to produce, for example, interactive graphics or interactive maps. I just want to show you very quickly the Google News Lab website, which is g.co/newslab. Okay, this website has been published in many different languages, so you can find not only English, but like many other languages, and more will be added in time. And you can find here a number of tutorials which are meant to help you to learn how to use certain tools. So for example, there are tutorials that are, sorry, on how to do research. There are short lessons. Some of them are in video, others are like step by step. There are examples. And you can just go and use any of them to learn how to use one of the tools. That these lessons are also constantly updated. So if you follow the Twitter channel of NewsLab, I'll give you all the contacts by the end, you can get all the updates. Anytime a new tutorial is uploaded and produced also in different languages, you can actually find out very easily and go to the website and use it. On the same website, and then I'll go back to YouTube, sorry, it's very important. There is a very broad section dedicated to the data, so the use of data in journalism, and the sources of data with a particular focus on Google Trends. We talked about Google Trends yesterday. We will talk about that today again in the afternoon. Trends is an interface, a very powerful interface to get an idea of which are the topics or the words that are most searched by people in real time. So you can actually compare how different terms are searched in real time, day by day, country by country, and also like by different type of topics. Okay, so back to our topic of this morning. What we will focus on is, one thing. If you have questions, please, just raise your hands, but make sure you wait for the microphone to arrive because we need to have all the questions as well recorded. And yeah, just interrupt me and we go ahead. I prefer an interactive manner anyway. So what we will focus on today is how can we use YouTube and Hangout tools to improve our way of producing journalistic content. How many of you use YouTube? as user or also as producer? User. Producer, how many producer? Okay, few hands. And how many users just like browsing YouTube and watching? Okay, more or less. Right, now these numbers are really not up to date. You can imagine they change like literally constantly. So, but just to give you an order of magnitude, we're talking about more than a billion, unique users per month. Interestingly, more than 80% of the viewers are outside the US. We have like a very strong amount of users in Europe and everywhere else. So it's not like, it's widely distributed. It's quite interesting, the target. So you have that's the age, the people between 18 and 34 years of age use YouTube much more so than any cable network. I'm pretty sure that any one of you who has seen or observed a teenager at home, you know that YouTube is actually their landing platform very often, even to find information, so even before going into search or any other page. And interestingly for us, from a journalistic point of view, a third of searches are on news related. So people actually search for news on YouTube, and they search for video content on YouTube, which has a strong information content. It's not only entertainment. Another very important data, again, I'm talking about data that it's being updated all the time, but just to have an order of magnitude here, 2 years ago, a small percentage of the traffic was on mobile, but we are growing on that, of course, and I think it's common experience that we all watch lots of videos on mobile now. So mobile is definitely, I'm really sorry, the first channel we should look at. Now, how can we use YouTube? The first thing is that we can use it as a source of information, as lots of people do. So look for information for video that have been uploaded on YouTube. Look also for user-generated content. You just go to YouTube platform, and as in search, you just insert your word and find a list of video. What not everybody knows maybe is that you can select a lot using the filters. So if we go back here, I just search for lunar eclipse, for example, get the number of results, then I go into filters here, and I can actually, again, focus my search a bit much better. I can hone down on my research much better. I can tell I want just recent content, I just want the latest uploads, I want short or long video, what kind of video I want, which kind of characteristic, also technical characteristic. I want something that is in 3D, or I want something that's live, or in 360, and so on. So I can filter my research using like all of these filters. What is really important once we are at that stage is that we also make sure that we know who has produced that kind of video and to contact the person who has produced the video. It's very easy because each video is published by someone who has uploaded. So you can go back to that channel and get in touch with the person who has produced that kind of content. And if terms of usage are not explicit on that page, you contact the person and try to make sure that you know if that content can be used in your case, like as a source or to be embedded. So this, if we want to use it as a source of information. I mentioned yesterday, I'm going back to mention today, it's very important that, especially from a journalistic point of view, we use content that's verified, that we don't recirculate material that's not being certified somehow, that we are sure that the content is actually being correctly identified. So YouTube Newswire is a program that's been, been born by a collaboration between Google News Lab and Storyful. Storyful in particular is an agency based in Dublin. Their major aim is verify video content. So they use lots of different tools. Some tools are quick, yesterday we were, for example, looking at the fact that we can even sometimes look at a screenshot of a video and make sure using image search that that image is original or not. But sometimes it's much more difficult, so you need to use professional softwares to actually make sure that the video is exactly what it says it is. So it's been shot where it's declared and the content is correct and all of that, okay? So YouTube Newswire, you find loads of videos here which have been verified, and you can reuse them using, of course, the appropriate terms of use. Now, how many of you use Hangout? Okay. How you use Hangout usually? For conference, okay. So we will use today and see again how both YouTube's and Hangouts can be used to also produce your original content and distribute it, okay, online. First of all, we see YouTube as a channel is more and more like, there are more and more partnerships between different news outlets and YouTube. It's a very powerful tool to distribute your video content. It's very important, though, that you set your YouTube channel in a proper way. So the first thing is build a home. Make your channel recognizable. Make it sure that people know that it's your channel and that the content there is under your responsibility, okay? How do you do that? Well, we just have an example here. This is the BBC News. Like, you know that it's verified because it's BBC News channel. It's very important that it's including all the appropriate social tools. So when you are building your channel, you make it linked to all of your social tools so that it's actually empowering a lot the distribution of your content. Of course, you have the possibility for people to subscribe to the channel. We'll see in a minute that you actually can enhance that kind of feature. Make sure that many of your videos can actually have a special graphic saying subscribe to our channel. So you actually make that message even more powerful and more known to your user. And very often you find in a good YouTube channel that there is a welcome video. That's very important because the welcome video will kind of catch the user that gets there and immediately communicate what kind of channel is that, what kind of content do they expect to be there. They can expect to be there, and so they can actually decide if they are interested enough to subscribe to this channel. How do you do that? Now, I'll just do it live with you. Here, I created an empty channel just to show you how it looks when you actually open it. It's empty, of course. So you start from really making like a graphic here, for example, so put pictures or contents. This content also, it's important, it's updated all the time. You can describe the content of your channel. That's very important, of course, because the way you describe it makes it more easy to find when people are searching for it. And then you can manage a dashboard where you basically upload your video. If you go on dashboard here, you see how to organize your channel. So you can actually decide, and it's a very good idea, for example, to organize your video in playlist. I'll show you in a minute a couple of examples, but it's very effective if the video are organized in playlists which are clearly signed for the person who gets there. For example, educational content, long form, very short graphic animation, and so on. So when people arrive there, they know exactly what kind of content they can pick, right? So that's a very good way to have your, no reader, but your viewer in this case, more interested in following you and understanding how you actually produce your content when new content is uploaded and all of that. So you can organize the playlist very easily. You just go here and group your video. Yes?
Okay. Thank you very much. To interrupt, if we upload it, so is there some tagging system that we use to upload the video? Because you know when you're using the filter, it means like you find by keywords.
Yeah,
Is when we upload the video, is there any
absolutely.
tagging system that we can using for our video and then make it easier to put up
Definitely.
in a playlist?
When you upload your video, you have to tag your video and use very clear tags and very clear description, because the text is what really allows the search. Yeah, the tagging video is part of the uploading system.
So it's also integrated into CEO system of Google. So like either you find it, you browse it from YouTube channel, or you browse it from Google main page. You can
Well,
easily track it.
Search system is based on the fact that any content can be found if it is well clearly described. So in fact, what we were seeing at yesterday, if you go into the normal search page, you can search general content, news, video, and so on. So if video are tagged properly and they're well described, they are, of course, more easy to find by the system. Okay, so it's very important that you actually really use all of these tools to organize your channel in a good way, so that your channel becomes like a real channel. It's not only the situation where you put on video and assemble that, but it's organized as a channel for people to go through. For example, at Jazeera here, we have, as you see, like a very interesting, like a very clear picture that brings you directly into the newsroom. Again, you have, like in their case, it's a live video. You can choose video that are in evidence, that can be like live video, or they can be in evidence video, longer video. It's up to you, but it's really important that you have a sort of an editorial plan in the way you organize your YouTube channel, okay? I want to show you, let me just find it here. Now, we don't need to hear the audio, just to show you, like when you land on BBC News page, the video starts immediately, the evidence video, okay? Okay, we'll stop this, just to show you how it's organized. You can see the top stories here. If you go down, like a full section now on Panama Papers, that's been just set up of course, in the past few days. BBC winners, World in Pictures, 360 video. So the user that gets here, the viewer gets here, has a very clear picture of what kind of content is there, how it's organized, so in which way it can actually interact with this kind of platform, okay? Oh. Okay. Now, we focus a bit on the type of formats, because of course, again, the formats make a huge difference in the way they are used by people, right? So we can have short formats. These are very popular, especially on mobile, and they're very popular for people who are moving around a lot. So if you have like short video, 30, 60 seconds, up to 2 minutes, whatever. I'm not giving you a specific boundary here, but just to say a short format can be something that can be used. Many news channels are using it just to highlight the news of the day. So in a way, it's as we have the titles, for example, in the typical TV format, right? Like that very quick view of all the news of the day. That being said, they're very popular also, the long form on YouTube. Like many people actually use YouTube to watch long-form documentaries. So a good mix of the type of format that you can produce, it's probably the key to get your audience more involved. So there are very interesting and long documentaries that are available on many of the outlets' YouTube channel. And then there are those short formats, quick news that are very popular on social media. This helps in getting your YouTube channel more used and shared, like this kind of content are shared very quickly on social media. Now, this is just to tell you because this is like a very small example of a band of brothers. So it's like a daily news of a group of kids. They are a band of brothers, and this local news video has been shared for over 4 million times. So these are the kind of news that are, of course, very quick to distribute online. I want to show you this as an example of a very, there we are, of a very interesting way how YouTube has been used in years to actually interact, in this case, with the American president. So I just show you the, okay, so here we have Barack Obama being interviewed, like starting the idea, even when he was still a senator, now starting the idea that a good way to interact with his citizens was to use YouTube, so interacting with viewers, with young people, getting questions from them and answering the question online. In the years, the format has changed, of course, and so we get to more recent years. You can see this is an Hangout, for example, in 2012, so when young viewers have been put in a situation they could directly talk with Barack Obama. And in 2015, they started a new, there was a new format, which is bringing the YouTubers directly in at the White House. So bringing the YouTubers to recreate their little studio in the White House and have an interview with Obama there. Now, of course, this is a very particular format, but it's a very interesting way of thinking how you could get your audience to interact with very difficult to reach, usually, type of people that could actually reach a different audience completely. Because, of course, the fact that the YouTubers are used as, not used like they are protagonists, exactly acting as mediator between themselves and their audience, talking in this case with the American president. It's a very new type of format, which is very powerful, because this kind of video are then uploaded on the YouTube channel, so they don't go only live, but they also are uploaded and, of course, then shared afterwards for a lot. You can see here the White House, for example, has almost 2 million subscribers. So it's obviously a very powerful way for someone who wants to reach a different audience to use this kind of channel. Okay, I want to show you this example as well, which is the Al Jazeera Plus YouTube channel. This is, for example, a welcoming video that's explaining how the channel works and what kind of content can be found here. So this kind of video, it's like an invitation to subscribe to this channel, showing what Al Jazeera can bring you in terms of content, what kind of information and the format of the information. But what is very interesting in this channel, to give you an idea, is that most of the video that are here are very short. You can have videos that are like short docs or educational, like the TED conferences or the TED talks, or here, very small video, maybe in a series. But the good thing is that if you have many small video, it's easier for the audience to actually go through them in a very quick way. So, for example, particularly in places where maybe the broadband is not that well distributed, to think of producing a format that's easier to be used by the viewer, it's a way to empower your channel. Okay, then if you need any further support, there is a YouTube Help Center, of course. Yes, sorry. Yeah.
So just after you showed AJ Plus, obviously, and you mentioned about 40% of views are on mobile now, what we've been seeing on other platforms quite a lot is people playing into autoplay, so producing videos that can work without sound. Are you seeing any numbers that sort of show that people are consuming video in YouTube that way? Are more people interacting with things that have subtitles on them, for example? Or have you got any insights into that? Because obviously on Facebook it seems to be quite a big factor, but maybe not so much on YouTube at the moment. Is there a reason for that?
I honestly don't have numbers or anything to answer to that. I definitely see that the more features you take care of, for example, use the subtitles, that's a very important thing. Use some of those interactive features that can, like comments and all of that, but like a number of other, it's empowering a lot, the fruition, the possibility for people to share that kind of video. But I wouldn't have numbers on that,
Okay.
no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
Thank you. Can you give a practical example of the way to simply upload a video, for example, made with a mobile, to a channel, to my channel? It's a very stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid question.
If there is a guide, a guide for stupid users.
No, that's what I mean. No. If you go to the YouTube Help Center, I mean, it's very, we can also find it live, okay? How to upload. No, it's really important, actually, because video on YouTube, there is a support. Upload videos, there is YouTube Help. So you can go step by step and find how to do all of your, also from different type of platform or different devices. Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's not a stupid question at all, because that's the first step. If you don't upload video, then it's very difficult to go ahead. To open a channel, you just need to have an account, and then you go my channel, and that's where you start from. But then, of course, you have to populate the channel and from the different platform you use. Yeah.
Are all this content free of charge, or you can make some content on charge, the paid?
What I'm presenting today, the use of YouTube as a free tool here. We're talking about the use of this kind of tool is free of charge. It's free. Yeah. Okay, so further support important, because I'm sure, like, I've gone quickly through how you actually create your channel, but you need to go step by step and try also what things work better for you, because of course there is a huge difference if you are representing like a big news outlet, a small newsroom, or an individual channel, and so on. It's very important to look at the using contents with appropriate permission, as I said at the beginning. So if you are using material coming from the web and also material produced with Google brand, it's very important that you use it according to the terms of use. So there is a specific page on that. There is also a page, YouTube for Creators. Of course, we're not talking, creators are not all journalists. Actually, very often they're not journalists at all. But it's very good to use the Creator Academy as a source of inspiration, like this particular site, so YouTube for Creators, gives a lot of hints of how to create your channel and how to produce video that are engaging. Then, of course, you have to decline that to make it relevant for the kind of use it's important for you. So, but it's a very good starting point to get information on how to create your channel. Okay, so there are already over 5,000 news partners around the world with YouTube, and so many news outlets have a YouTube channel. I'm sure you know that, because like they're very evident and popular, and used in a different and integrated way with what goes on TV. Okay, so that's, I mean, it's very important also that we consider the type of format, the type of content that's thought for the YouTube channel is not necessarily the same. Actually, very often it's not the same that goes on TV. Okay, so let's go straight into the Hangout. Hangout, here we represent it as a very ancient way of fostering dialogue. In a way, it's an interface and a platform that does the same thing, puts people together, right? And allows people to talk through a very effective video system. The good thing from our point of view is to be able to use Hangout to actually interview people and have your interviewee to interact with a number of people in the audience, for example. So if you decide, like as we said before, like if you decide to have 10, 15 people interviewing Angela Merkel or who else, you can organize an Hangout, which is pretty straightforward. I'll show you now how you do that. Again, it can be done, it's in streaming, so it's on air, it's live, but then it can be, the video is uploaded on your YouTube channel. So there is this double side to the story that I'm producing an on-air event, so a real live event, but this event is at the same time recorded and then published on my channel. So it will go ahead and ahead if I'm able then to promote that kind of content. I just go quickly through a few examples here, but we have seen Obama already, okay? There are many examples of Hangouts being used now as part of the editorial production. So if you are in a newsroom, you can have your, let's say, weekly or bi-weekly or regular Hangouts on air to interact, both to interview people or to interact with your audience. Think it also in a double way, right? So you can basically use this kind of tool to lower the barrier between different type of words, like people who watch and people who actually talk, okay? You get all of them talking. Okay, it's also a very powerful tool. I mean, many television are using it also to reach people who are difficult to be reached now live, like with the fact that we don't have journalists everywhere in the world as we used to send the journalists to interview someone. We can't do that all the time now. Very often, Hangout can be a solution to actually lower the distance. Okay, I want to show you how you do an Hangout on air. How many of you have done an Hangout on air? Okay, so there are a few experiences in the room, right? Did it work out? Yeah? Was it effective okay. So it's pretty straightforward to set up. It's not very difficult. You just need, again, a bit of planning here because you want to set your Hangouts on air earlier, organize it as an event, launch the event online, make sure that people know that it's happening. So use all of your social media to actually foster and make sure that people take part to this, and then go live at the right moment with the right timing. So if you go to Hangouts on air, I can actually do it live if you want. Let's see. Okay, so this is my my page. You go here, down, Hangouts on air. Right, that's what you see. So you just go on create an Hangout on air. Okay, so that's your starting point. You need to have a title, like a very clear title, a description, and then you have to set a specific time. As I say, if you want to make it more powerful, you don't do it right now, but you just say, okay, tomorrow, in 2 days' time, in a week time, whatever. So you set these for, let's say, I don't know, let's say we go on the 10th of April, okay? You set a duration. It's like literally like a TV format. So you can say, okay, I want it to last for an hour. And then you add the people you want to interact with. So you basically you wanted to make public, you wanted to make it known to your circles or so on. Now, I won't make it public at the moment, but I just do it to myself. Let's see. Just to try out. Sorry. Okay? And then you go and share it. No, I don't want to add more people. We should be fine. Okay. It's a bit slow. I'll go back to my presentation so we go faster, and I can show you how to do that. Here. Okay, so this is the interface we just saw, and then when you click share, that's what it opens, right? So it's an interface with the event, the time for the event, and you can enrich this page, adding pictures, adding posts, so saying to, like, maybe one day before or 2 days before you do another post, reminding your audience that there will be an Hangout on air in 2 days' time. You can also set up a trailer. That's very important if you are doing it regularly. You can have a trailer that, for example, tells something about what you're doing. Like, sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask you, can you do all of this? You've shared this with yourself. Can you do all of this before you share it public? In other words, you're kind of creating it almost as a little mini channel.
That's the thing. Yeah, I didn't want it to do because I'm doing it as an example. But
Just
that's
yep.
Absolutely, yes. No, so that's exactly the point. You create the event, make it public or to the circles you want to make it known. And then once the event is created, it's very important that you actually keep feeding the event. So you are sharing it on your social. You are maybe setting a trailer so it will be more clear to the people who land on the page what this Hangout will be on. You can add, as I say, pictures. You can add posts. So make this page a bit more lively. And the minute you go on air, then it will be recorded. So one thing, this is just really journalistic, but be ready to start as you go on air. It's not like you have to really, you're broadcasting in that case, okay? So, and in this case, okay, it can be edited afterwards, but you are on air in that time. So you really want to make sure that you have a very well-organized content. At the end, after half an hour or an hour, your set time, when you press stop, that video is organized, edited, and uploaded on your YouTube channel. So from that moment on, it lives as a video that's being uploaded on your channel. So you have on air and then the video, okay?
You can also transmit some contents, like a video or closed...
Yes. Thank you for the question, because I forgot. Yes, you can include contents, you can include video, you can, of course, like as we saw here, when you are talking to the people, you can switch, of course. The person who has organized the Hangout is the person who's managing, the dashboard. Oh, sorry. Okay, so while people are talking, you highlight them. So you really have a live event. Like if this person down here is talking, you click on them and the camera will be on that person. You can include video, you can include a presentation, you can share a presentation. You can have a Q&A, there is a Q&A feature, so you can open a channel where people can actually write and ask you questions live, which is a very powerful way, because if you're doing an interview, you'll have maybe a few people that are invited as speakers there, but then you might have hundreds or thousands of viewers who are not able to interact directly. They can't talk directly, but they will send you a question or they will want to share a link or something like that. So you can use all of these features to make the event a real broadcast with all these kind of added features, because of course that's the novelty. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so could you just explain a little bit in a bit more detail how you moderate it, so people aren't speaking at once, so that you can actually introduce the speaker?
Yes. Well, that's basically goes to, it's very similar to hosting a program, right? So you have to have your program organized. Who's the person hosting the event? Let's say it's me, I'm hosting the event. I'm the person who's switching from one speaker to the other. So there are a few technical things that have to be clear. I mean, again, on the Hangout help page, you find all of this. For example, it's much better if all the people who are involved in the Hangout are mute while the person is speaking. So these are little technical details that make the quality of the Hangout much better. It will be you hosting the Hangout, introducing yourself, introducing your speakers, giving the word to, giving the microphone to a person or to another, and say, this person now start. And then you might interrupt this person and say, okay, there is a question from the audience, or there is a question on the Q&A. It's really like having your program planned. That's why I'm saying, it's a powerful tool. Just be sure that you have organized the actual broadcast in a proper manner, because you are on air. So, yes, on air. You are live, online, yeah.
Just another question. And people can come inside the discussion just asking, they need the permission to go and come inside, or?
Yes, okay. You can involve up to a certain number of people, the people who you can see here, for example. Okay, there is a limited number of people you can directly invite as your guest. So you might have a speaker and, let's say, 5 guests that you want to interact with the speaker. And then you open the Q&A for all the viewers. So you have, let's say, 3 levels. The person hosting, speaker and invited people who can interact, and then the viewers who can actually interact through the Q&A.
But the viewers can interact?
They can't talk. They can just write. Yes. Q&A. Q&A, written Q&A. Yes. Yes, while you are live, you can. If, for example, that's a very powerful thing as well. Like if you are talking about something and you feel that someone else could be adding content, you could do that. Okay, do we still have some time? Sorry, just want to make sure, yes. Okay, so next thing I want to show you, it's it's not a frontier anymore. We are experimenting with the Video 360, but anyway, YouTube 360 has, I think it's a 1-year-old more or less in terms of the channel. You find now a lot of content that's been produced. Some is of very high quality, other is more experimental. But it's a very interesting way to tell a story, especially when we want to bring your viewers in an environment directly. It's a much more immersive way. So if you go to the YouTube 360 channel, you can find really lots of different content. We'll show you in a minute. This content can be used in many different ways. Okay, there is the desktop usage, which is the less interesting. I wouldn't say that you do the 360 to view it on desktop, but you do it definitely to be viewed on mobile or with a cardboard. Cardboard are basically this. You have one here? Oh, fantastic. Because I was going to show how you actually do one. This is cardboard. Exactly. That's what they look like. Okay? It's a little box. You can actually, there are many different type of cardboard now. The most important thing is that it's a little box where you put your phone and then you just, oh sorry, I don't want to, and then you just, using a different type of apps, you can, or the YouTube 360 channel, you just look and you move around, basically, moving in the space of the 360. So it's a very powerful, simple tool, which can be used to feel more immersed in a certain environment and explore an environment in all its dimensions. So not only a frontal dimension, okay? Okay. There are many cameras now that are allowing us to produce a 360 video. Even there are apps for your phone. It's a bit more tricky, but there are apps or the camera of your phone. If you have like some type of smartphone, have it's part of their equipment to have a camera that allows you to do a 360 video. Then there are cameras that are very small, like the Ricoh, and then you go to very complicated type of cameras. Some of them are still to come. They're not even like in the consumer market yet. But they are being experimented, tested to produce more immersive video. There is also the possibility to join different cameras, like GoPro and these kind of cameras are being used in this kind of system. Sorry. putting many cameras together in order to get this kind of film, like a 3D film. These are a type of viewers that are, again, I mean, we're talking here about lots of different devices that are we're still in experimental phase, but many video producers are already using them a lot. It's very important to know that, of course, different cameras have different type of resolution, and then there is a very critical step, which is stitching your video together, because when you're producing videos with all those cameras, you need to stitch them in a proper way, otherwise you end up, let's see if I can see an example here, and you end up like that, right? So it's very important to use appropriate software to do the stitching before you edit your video, otherwise you need to do it twice then. So, okay, Video Stitch is a good software that can be used. There is a free version of it, so you can try, if you are curious, to produce some video and then go ahead and experiment. See, for example, this is, again, 3 cameras put together, and so on. So also it's very important to know that the different devices crop the video in a different way. So I'll come to you in a second. But for example, if we look through the cardboard, of course we have this kind of circular frame. And then if you use the phone, the frame is different. So you have to keep that in mind when you are focusing on a specific subject, and the way you are actually doing your video, it's very important. Sure.
This is the same things of virtual reality?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And when you read this is a video 3D is another things. 3D video is something you use the Oculus for see
you're
like
talking
3D.
about yeah, but you're talking more into the video gaming space, or no?
No, I read that there is some channel in 3D, and this is only an effect.
Yeah.
This is a
No.
360 and virtual reality,
Yeah.
the same things.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So again, help page for uploading your 360 video. You need a bit more technical specification to do that than uploading a normal video, but if you go step by step again, it helps a lot. I just want to make sure it's very clear that, of course, like the Oculus and this kind of very high-tech equipment will become more popular. Cardboard are much more affordable. We're talking about few euros, so it's a very different story from thousands euros of a high-tech product. And then lots of people use them on mobile, because you can use the app, or you can use, as I say, the channel. What you are on your mobile, you simply move your mobile around, and you are moving into the environment. I just want to give you a couple of examples if I still have time. I'm just looking for that. It's very important to get this clue. Here. The frame is no longer fixed. That's the point. Makes a very different way when you are doing video. Because, of course, all the people, I mean, I've been doing video for years, like, you know, that's exactly what you're trying to set an appropriate frame. Now the frame goes, right? So you have to tell your story in a very different way. You are in this situation, okay? Okay, so I want just to give you a couple of examples. Right, it's a very strong one, for example. Of course, we're seeing it in a very reduced way here on desktop, right? But okay, just go, that's the video. So what happened there was, what we saw at the beginning was the usage of some footage, right? And then a director came and did this 360 video, and I can show you how it looks like. You are moving around and seeing how the actual time looks, how people move around. Now, as I say, this is not the optimal way of viewing it, because we're just moving around. But if you are with a cardboard or with a mobile, you are moving around. And so you are in the actual place. Okay? So there are a number of situations where I think you could imagine like seeing, for example, places where people are experiencing war, or during a riot or a demonstration, for example, or also, I just want to show you this example. Okay, this is a very nice example. For example, the idea of being in the cockpit, of the cockpit of an Airbus. I don't know how many of you had the experience of entering a cockpit. I did many years ago before all the security issues, and it's basically impossible now. It's great to be in a video where you're actually there with the person, with the captain, seeing how the plane is brought around. So it's really a very powerful way of doing it. Many different examples. If you go on the YouTube 360 channel, you can see many. I just want to close on this. This is an example. New York Times has decided to start like a line of production of this kind of video in collaboration with Google Cardboard. And so you see they show you how to place the phone, fold, and then watch. And there are already a number of videos you can actually see. Particularly interesting was one of the first one, is The Displaced. This was published on November 5th, and it's the story of 3 kids in 3 different refugee camps in Syria, Sudan, and I can't remember the third country. Anyway, it's very powerful because you enter the actual refugee camp and again see how these kids live their daily life. Okay. Right, so I stop here. I just want to give you all of our indication again. So g.co Newslab is our website. Google Newslab Twitter channel to get all the latest information. Google Newslab G+ community, YouTube channel where you find loads of materials and also our Hangout on Air on different tools. And these are our address. Newslab support at google.com is the place where you want to write if you want to reach the team for any questions regarding your use of tools for your production. Thank you. So for the people who are interested, tomorrow morning at 9, we're going through geo tools here. And today at 4 at the San Gallo, we are going through search and image search again, but that will be in Italian. Okay, thank you. Of my slides.